Okay, so as promised, now we are going to create one animation of a jump also, but with a different character, and also not jumping like from one point to another like this, but jumping in the same place. So what we want is something that will start here and jump and come back to the same pose. As I explained in the other exercise, the moments where we are going to start should be the extremes, okay? So the two extremes that we will find here would be, one extreme is when the body is on the bottom, so the character crouches down low and is like in a spring position with all that energy ready to explode and jump. And the other extreme would be the top pose, where the character is on its highest spot, so is hanging up there. We are going just to make very rough, so I will not be worried at all with my bad drawings or my bad lines. I'm just worried about getting the physics, getting the poses, okay? And then getting the timings. So first the poses and then the timings. And after that, okay, then you can make your drawings look good. Oh, and about this character, we did a previous approach. This was this one, okay? So it's a normal character, let's call it like that. But I told you that in this time, and because it's very important, the weight of the body, the type of character that we are making, we are going to create here a jump with a heavy character. Of course, that a jump with a light character will be different. And once again, you can look for references. And you have great material in the Animator survival kit, and you also I put the references down here in the video, because there are a lot of great animators that are providing great courses of animation, so there you'll have much more information. Here I just want to keep it short, okay? I made my decision also because we already did the jump with a rabbit that is a small character and very flexible and very able to jump. And now I'm going to make the opposite. It's like a bear, so it's a heavy character, okay? So first pose, let's get it kind of squashed in the ground. So my arms are a bit up, because when I go down, my arms go up and they are like loading all that energy that will be used for the jump. And my legs are bent, my head is down, okay, and is in this spring pose. Now the character is down, and my next pose would be the character going a bit up, okay? So the head is going to lead this jump, okay? The arms are loading all the energy to jump, but it's the head that will lead the jump. So in the next pose, I will bring my character a bit up and getting ready to go for the jump. There we go. We have the head coming up, okay? And the arms are coming down in arcs. And the head is coming up. A bit like there. Okay. And now the third frame, as the character is coming up, I will now start showing some stretch, okay, because the character is trying hard to go up, so I will add the stretch. So we have this sequence here, the head is coming up, the arms are coming down, and now the body will go up and everything is starting to stretch. But since this is a heavy character, I will leave the heavy parts a bit behind, like so. I'm giving the delay of the heavy parts, and all the character is coming up, but my legs are still both feet on the ground, and the stretch that I'm making in this part of the body is transmitting this effort that the character is making to come up. I'm continue to pulling my arms to give the energy to the jump, okay? So they are still coming like this, and the body is all going this way, and the heavy parts stay. And after this is not my more stretched pose, okay, because I started to stretch the upper part of the body, but the completely stretched pose would be the next one. It's the moment where the character is just about leaving the ground. So it's the last pose where the body is still touching the ground. So let's make it. So there we go, our last pose before leaving the ground. And notice that both feet are still touching the ground, because this is a heavy character, so we should not consider it as flexible as the one that we did before. And you see here all the stretch in the entire body. So next pose, the body leaves the ground. This pose is very important to make the regular shape of our character. So we make it back to the normal shape. Here we totally deformed his body to make this stretch. And I'm making all this because it's like has a belly. And we will make the character back to the normal shape. So this is my normal shape. And here the hands, you can see that I'm putting the hands down. And the next frame would be another extreme. So it's the peak. The character is as higher as possible. So okay, so the character, we really feel all this, the shape of the body that is driving the animation to go up. Okay, so and here the head is just a little bit higher than the shoulders. The shoulders here are in their highest point, and the arms are kind of aligned with the shoulders. Everything is just the highest as possible. Even the legs are coming a bit up. You can see that I bent here this leg, and here I try to put this leg up and try to twist the feet to try to make everything to reach the highest position possible. Okay, we'll try to pull the legs up. And next pose, since the character reached his peak, we will try to make a pose where the character just tries to not fall. So I'm keeping the legs bent, my arms are coming a bit down, also the head, I brought the head a bit down, but I kept the shoulders here. Okay, they are hanging there, and since the head is coming down, what we see here is like the legs keep pulling up and the body kind of rotates a bit because he's trying to hang up in the air. And since he can't do it, with this rotation we are simulating its effort to not fall. The next moment is the moment where the character will start coming down. So it's the last moment before actually start falling. So that we will keep now try to keep the body up there, but those parts that were pioneers in coming up, so the head was the first one going up, is also now the first element to go down. So the head goes down, the shoulders also come down because they played very important roles here by bringing the body up, but they are also the first ones that are now falling. We will try to make one last effort with the legs that are the last elements that are coming up, and they will be also the last elements being released. So let's release the head and the shoulders down, but let's try to pull the legs up again in effort. So the head is coming down, okay? So we see the head coming down and also the shoulders, the arms a bit down too, but the legs, look at this leg, this was the last one coming up, remember? Look here, we brought this leg first and this is the second, so this is coming first and this is coming in second, and here this leg is bent, this starts to bend too, and it was, so here my second leg that is bent here, it will be the last one releasing, so it's still coming up. This one starts to coming a bit down because it can't hang in there anymore. Okay, and now the body will just come down, so it starts falling, all the body comes down, and now the legs, they have to change its role. So while the legs were the last coming up, you can think that they will be also the last coming down, but the character has to land with the feet. So the legs now will actually need to get in a hurry to sustain the fall of the character on the ground. So let's make the character already being prepared to land. And this is a heavy character, so we didn't play a lot with the legs as we did here in this example. So here we really left one foot behind. We get this one very visible and very ready to be the contact. But in this case, this is a heavy character and its jump, like he's not a professional jumper, so he is not used to jump. Let's make it like a flappy jump. It's like not very coordinated, but we will still put one leg first, so it will not be like a 2 feet jump. and we will not point the feet to the ground, because if we point the feet to the ground, it will seem like he's like a professional jumper or so, like a basketball player or an animal that usually jumps, but it's not the case. So let's make it a bit messy, okay, a bit clumsy. Yeah, there we go. This is really clumsy. Yeah, perfect. And you see that the legs are already stretched, kind of stretched, and it's very fast, this moment here. When I say very fast, I mean the difference between poses, okay? So here, look at the arms. They are a bit different, of course, and you feel the arms coming a little up again, and they are coming up to avoid like a tragic fall on the ground. So he's trying to keep hanging up in the air, okay? So the arms are still staying behind to try to create some balance, but the legs are just there, ready to go on the ground, and he's just worried about the fall and not to get hurt. So the head is also coming down. You see the head is coming down. Only the shoulders and arms are staying there, okay? And now for the 10th frame, we will again make a stretch, as we did with the jump that we did before, with the little man that we created, and even with the exercise with the rabbit. We made a stretch coming up, and we will also did a stretch coming down. And again, we will do the same. So here will be the moment where the character will first touch on the ground. So let's stretch it. Okay, so one foot on the ground is this one, the left one, and the other is just getting ready to come also to the ground. The arm still going up, trying to make that balance that we talked before, and again the head coming down. And yeah, the contact foot is here. So notice the difference and the similarity. So we are making again kind of this movement, but look at the difference. This character is really controlling its jump, and all this leg is clearly the contact one, but in this case you can see that it's kind of, okay, this one was the contact foot by luck. Okay, it's not something that is kind of comfortable with, so we are creating this clumsy jump. And next pose, okay, both feet are on the ground, and squash the body down. Bam! The character is completely on the ground. Okay, let's see how it feels and if we are happy about with all our poses. Okay, whoop. Okay, so there we go, we have our jump. However, there's something missing here. Again, like in the first exercise, the introduction exercise that we did, each pose is having the same time. So this movement, the poses feel right, but the timing doesn't feel right. We need to adjust the timing of each pose to create a correct momentum for this jump. So we need to think about which poses need more time. As we did in the first exercise, the moment where the character is this spring ready to jump, we need to give it a little bit more time. So in this case, the first keyframe, let's give it one more time. So I will just, there are some ways to do it. I'm just clicking and dragging, but I can also press F5. Here I hang it there. And once again, try to ignore the fact that the character is freezing. Just try to feel the timing. And now this moment here, this should happen fast. And here, where he's stretching, okay, the next one is this one. So this stretch, you can see that we are creating the difference here. So we are bringing the body weight here that was left behind to be stretched. So we will give it a little bit more time also between this pose and the next one. And there's a lot of things happening here. And I'm stretching all the entire body, and the more important thing, and that's why I'm leaving, I want one more frame here, is to feel the body, the heavy part of the body coming up too. So now we are giving more time to come to this pose. And between this pose and the next one, that is this one, I will not give more time, because this time here to here, that should happen fast, because here is where my character is all stretched and I don't want to keep it too much time stretched. We already talked about that before. And between here and here, so this is the moment where the character will reach the peak. We will give it also more time because the character really gained and accumulated the energy to be there hanging up in the air. So I will give one more frame here to have more time, and also here when the character is here on the peak. Okay, tag. And now in this pose here, again, let me see what is the next one. Okay, so this moment here is the last effort that the character is making before falling. Okay, yeah, so let's give it more time also here and also here, because then it comes to this pose. Between this pose and this pose I will not add anything because the character is really almost touching the ground. I will not give another time. I will give more time here. Okay, so let's see how it looks like. Okay, it feels right. Okay, there's something here still happening too fast, and I think it's here. Okay, tag. Because these two poses here, we can give it a little bit more time. Okay, let's check. Okay. All right. So now we have the timings much more accurate to this kind of jump. So the only thing that is missing now is the in-betweenings to make it like nice and smooth, and we just need to add drawings here. So between these two, and now these drawings here, they will be just intermediate poses between these two, paying attention to what is changing. So in this case here, I will have to put my head here. So I will add them, I will show them and say some brief things. So these intermediate poses, everything is just a sketch, it's very rough, but in these in-betweenings, they could be even more rough because we just need more or less the pose, and after we will improve it. There we go, this intermediate pose. And notice that I didn't put the head here in the middle because I'm considering the slowing in and slowing out. So the head is slower in the beginning, okay? So here the head just moves a bit and then gives this jump to here, okay? And the arms, I'm just putting in the middle poses between these two keyframes, okay? And the next one will be between this and this. So between these two, I want to make it like in a middle pose. So arms, they are, the previous frame is here, the next one is here. I just put them in the middle, and since I need to stretch my legs, I'm already stretching the legs, okay? And the head also in the middle pose. And then here is between these two, here I will just try to hang the character there, and the more differences are here in these legs. So I'm turning this foot inside and start to bending this leg. Okay, and now between this and this, again, this is even more similar. I'm just hanging the character there. This arm here is the one that we have more difference. Okay, and now once again, just an intermediate pose. Everything is very similar. I'm just playing again with the previous and the next. You see here this foot here, and this arm is more visible. And now between this pose and this, I will also play with slow in and slow out. So I will make the character closer to this pose here, okay? And then I make a bigger difference in this pose. Create blank keyframes. This arm is coming down. All right, next pose. So I start to bring my legs down, but as you can see here, these three, so is this, we want to come to this pose here, right? And what we are doing between these, we put them in the beginning more close to the previous one, so we are slowing the movement. The movement in the beginning is slower and then it goes faster. Okay, so in this, so you can see that from this pose here, look, this foot here and this, from this pose to here there's a little bit of movement, from this pose to here there's a bit, it's a bit more, and here is even more. Okay, and finally between these two, let's make an intermediate pose here. Once again, I'm putting a less difference here between these two than between these two because it gets faster, right? Okay, so this is the beginning pose and this is the last pose. I think that we have already a loop here. Okay, let's check. Our rough version of our heavy jump is ready. So now it's your turn. So I hope you enjoy it and I wish you good luck for your approach. Yeah, and that's it.